Hello everyone and welcome back to Austin Plus and not Caloriacs but Austin Plus, where today, as you would have read by the pardon?
Cala critiques.
Cala critiques, I like that. Where today, if you obviously you've read the title, we are discussing Star Wars, so obviously Marcus is here. And more specifically, we are talking about the Acolyte show and why it was so categorically bad. Because when Star Wars The Acolyte was first announced, many fans were actually excited about it, me included. I don't know about Marcus.
I still had a high bridge to kind of get to, because what they've done in the past with like the High Republic games has always been like a very high standard. So a series would kind of have to explain things pre Palpatine.
Yeah, that too.
Because when you have like the rule of two.
Yeah. And it was promised to explore a completely different era of obviously the Star Wars timeline, the High Republic, and long before the rise of the Empire as well. But it also marketed itself as a mystery thriller focused on the dark side of the Force and how the Force actually functions and all that shite. But despite its ambitious ideas, the series quickly became one of the most divisive Star Wars projects ever released. I'd say not one of the most, I'd say the most divisive. So today we are discussing why the Acolyte show was that dreadful. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, this premise was actually not that bad. The premise was like fair enough. It made sense, and it was the idea was there. I don't think we can lie to ourselves in that.
I'm still here.
You're just waiting for me to carry on.
I'm waiting for a good point to bring this all tumbling down on its head.
Okay, because on paper the Acolyte had enormous potential, and instead of revisiting all the familiar characters that they had used, like Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, the series actually explored an era that had barely actually been shown in live action or in any source of media other than like legends and books. But the idea of following a mystery involving Jedi murders, hidden Sith influences, and then moral ambiguity offered something different from the previous Star Wars stories. So all in all, I'd say that is a very ballsy idea, but I definitely think it was a worth it idea as well. But why do you disagree?
I don't disagree with the concept. It's a good area to explore. My problem is with the execution.
Oh yeah, no, the execution was terrible, but you have to admit there was an interesting premise to this whole show.
Yeah, the premise was okay. Like, it explored an era that has only ever lightly been touched upon in games, in lore, and things like that. So it was an concept, and it was definitely ballsy, but it's very weird because you see this sort of the political arrogance of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
In Phantom Menace, where Keanu Coneface says the Sith have been not here for billions of years.
Yeah.
And then you've got Maul lurking about and being like Wagwan. So it's kind of ballsy to go for the premise of Jedi are getting murdered at a vast scale. It might as well be a genocide. I don't know, that like they always knew the Sith influence was around.
They just tried to ignore it.
No, but then you have Malekith, Revan, before you get Plagueis. Meaning, between Plagueis, Sidious, and whatever else he has.
Who's Malekith?
I believe, if I'm not, it's like the Darth Vader original, the one with like the rebreather.
Do you know Malekith is the villain in
Thor? Malekith, I don't know. Malgus, yeah.
Oh, I was just like, Yeah.
Yeah, Malgus, the Rebreather Don, and Revan. Though, so you kind of know that they have encountered Sith beforehand. So it's a bit like, well, okay, explaining murders. You're either going to go into
bounty hunters or
bounty hunting. What is it? Bounty hunting. Or like purging in a way where it's still like a full-blown war.
Yeah.
Like the Clone Wars was, but in the High Republic sort of era.
Yeah. Another big problem with this show was a lot of weak character development. I mean, one of the biggest criticisms was centered around all of the characters. There were several interesting concepts, and many viewers felt like they lacked enough development to actually become emotionally invested in them. And motivations often obviously changed, like quickly. Important relationships received very, very limited screen time, and some major character decisions just felt so underexplained it didn't make sense. And as a result, dramatic moments just sometimes failed to feel like have any emotional impact. That the series just fell short in that respect.
Stagnated.
Yeah. Now, this is where I think we're getting into the area where things are going to get very annoying, and we're going to have some, like, rage-inducing comments. So, strap in.
From the person on the other line.
Maybe both, because I hated this show as well. But another big problem was the inconsistent writing, and I don't mean another big problem. I think the biggest problem in this whole show is the lack of consistency, and you are meddling
I think it's
with
the lack of respect.
Yeah, you're
the
meddling.
lack of respect for the source material, the lack of respect to do things for Star Wars fans, the lack of respect in casting bunch that don't actually know Star Wars. They basically accused Luke Skywalker of being the man that killed because he blew up a Death Star. This is all facts, and I have seen these clips.
I think the inconsistent writing, it was you're messing with forces that are not to be reckoned with, and I think the biggest complaint is the writing, because the series introduced intriguing mysteries, like as you said with the murder mystery, but often resolved them in ways that many viewers just considered rushed or unsatisfying. Like,
I mean, if you want a murder mystery, just go watch it on fucking BBC iPlayer or something. Fuck me.
Yeah,
don't mess with my shit.
Don't mess with my Star Wars. And dialogue also occasionally felt very unnatural, very forced in my opinion. And while some plot developments definitely relied on coincidence rather than actual logical progression, it just didn't appeal to anyone's viewing experience, and this created the impression that the story actually prioritizes surprises over carefully built storytelling, and the surprises were shit as well.
There's two kind of main things that I want to point out.
Yeah,
I think the character that is the coolest was the rogue Sith Lord, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Quima, yeah.
Oh,
he was cool.
Whatever.
The girl is the worst character I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the fact that they were twins as well was just double the annoyance.
Well, because when bleeding a lightsaber, and this has always been one of my fucking stand on business points, bleeding a lightsaber nearly killed Vader in the comics.
Yes. And she just did it like, hi, I got powers, bitch.
And she had a little autistic meltdown, okay, and decided, yeah, I've got a lightsaber, I'm what, bitch?
Yeah, it didn't...
It was just fucking ridiculous.
I think you'd need to show the pain of that bleeding that lightsaber.
Yeah, but if it nearly killed the most powerful being,
yeah, it probably would have killed her.
And then she just had an autistic meltdown.
To be fair, if we had a lightsaber and we had an autistic meltdown, mate, we'd be flying in lightsabers.
Yeah,
I think.
And then, the only good thing about that was it's a really poor point to stand upon, but it introduced what his armor was, and that's not something very well known in canon. That there is actually armor other than Beskar that can deflect / repel lightsabers.
Yeah.
Because remember, it cut them out.
Yes. It did make scratches on his though, but Beskar it doesn't.
Yeah, but it short circuits a lightsaber.
Yes.
That's still pretty cool.
Yeah. I also think the Jedi portrayal in this is shocking. Like the show.
There's no familiar faces.
Like
you've just got a bunch of. Like, I know some of the Jedi Masters were a bit questionable, but at least they had a backbone. This guy looked like he'd shat his pants.
Oh, he did not know what he was doing with that role. The show, obviously, it generated significant discussion over the portrayal of the Jedi Order at the time. Now, obviously, not many people know about the Jedi Order at said time. But rather than presenting them as flawless heroes, the Acolyte highlighted arrogance, political influence, and institutional failures. Now, that I actually do agree with, because they do try and make the Jedi to look like they're perfect. They're not. They're not. And I think that is
everyone
the only...
knows they haven't been perfect, but I think the problem is the highlighting of political ignorance. That doesn't start until Palpatine's involved, because there
was no substance in this one with that.
Yeah, like, he's the one that's pulling the strings, that's making these poor decisions that are driving the Jedi Council's decisions in a way.
Yeah.
So you can't play the same fucking card 7,000 times.
I think there are some fans that did appreciate that nuanced interpretation. Now, I liked it, but there was no link there. It didn't make sense. It was a good idea that they had these, they showed how they are wrong in some aspects, but it just still didn't make sense. But also, others did believe that it was very conflicted in how the Jedi had traditionally been portrayed, leading to, obviously, debates whether the series actually respected all of the Star Wars lore, which is, obviously, your biggest pet peeve. Now, this is my biggest annoyance with this. Since when the fuck can a lightsaber be a whip?
Yeah, I seen that. For reference, I didn't watch the Acolyte series all the way through. I gave up with it.
Yeah.
I just end up seeing clips of it and just was like, what the fuck? And I watched loads of breakdowns as well.
Yeah.
From people very well respected within the movie industry, and they were being like, you don't waste your time.
Yeah. I'd say
it's just blatant disrespect for the pathway it's been given.
Yeah.
And at least with people that they cast nowadays, they can talk about how Star Wars influenced their childhood. Star Wars has influenced film for the longest amount of time. Not that Luke Skywalker is an
derp
that blew up 2 Death Stars. At least have some people that are in the know. They know how the Star Wars universe operates, backstory. Yeah. These people had no clue. If you told them about the Mandalorian series, they probably never would have watched it.
Very true. Very true.
It's it's blatant ignorance, and I am so glad that the woman that made this stood down. Because I believe she was the one that was the CEO of the Star Wars division. I'm glad she stepped down. And I'd rather Dave Filoni take it than whatever that incompetent moron was doing. Because there's been nothing really good. People that argue that Rogue One's a good film need to really
I've never understood that.
Get a grip with yourself, man.
I think now, obviously, we've been talking about that for a bit about the lore controversies, but they genuinely hurt true diehard Star Wars fans because several.
No, because it rewrites lore.
I think they should fully just retcon this whole show and just forget it ever happened, and I think that's what they're trying to do. Yes, but it's just.
I think they've silently cancelled season 2. There was meant to be a CZ.
No, they did silently do it. They as soon as that woman went, it was a case of fuck that season. I'm out.
I did think so.
I mean,
but what is it? I think another overarching point is we've always wanted to see Plagueis in
some
series
sort of,
and film.
like, yeah.
But why did they make Cad Bane's uncle play him essentially? And why did he look like he was just having a fap in a cave?
Yeah, I'm terrified to be in this cave, so I'm just gonna peek my head out.
He looks like he survived the last extinction of the dinosaurs and then lived in that cave.
Genuinely. Everyone questioned if he was the person that trained Chimere. I don't know how to say it. All I know is it's Qimir. Interpret that what you will.
Quagmire.
Yeah, I'll call him Quagmire from now on.
Giggity.
Anyway, yeah, so everyone questioned if he was the Sith apprentice to him. Now, that very well could be true. We don't know that. However, oh wait, hang on. They said, "Oh, I'm a person that has channeled the Sith. I'm independently taught." So that just deadens that thing. So, what was the point in having Plagueis in there? So that again, that's a law. That's a very big law controversy. I mean, obviously, as you said, certain force abilities, character backstories, and obviously timeline implications up the fucking bridge, were viewed by some obviously very conflicting established canon. And like, how many years had it? This came out in 2024. When did Star Wars start? Like 1970s? How is it that you're still managing to fuck it all up 50 years down the line? That's impressive. Yeah. And others obviously argued that these changes could obviously still fit within the wider universe. Whoever says that, you need to get a check if you have a screw loose. And regardless of obviously
you need to check yourself into a mental hospital.
Yeah. And
you need to be sectioned.
Regardless of obviously which interpretation audiences accepted, hopefully you chose the right one. These obviously debates become one very big talking point surrounding the show.
It's not a debate. It's not a debate. It's an objective fact that TV series was god awful, and anyone who thinks differently, I know people are entitled to their opinion, but you're also wrong.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
and you shouldn't have an opinion.
Remember when we were in Cyprus? Me and Dad sat down and watched this. I now understand why I did not like that holiday as much.
What other than I was sweating my fucking dick off?
Everyone was. You were not the only one. I think there was a lot of missed potential. However, this show could have been very good. There was a lot of missed potential. Obviously,
missed. That's how bad it was.
Oh, I so wish I could have kept that in, but I definitely can't. I think perhaps the obviously greatest disappointment was the feeling that the Acolyte just had no ingredients to make it exceptional at all. No, it did have all the ingredients.
It had a recipe. It didn't bring ingredients. It was lacking sauce, and a whole lot more than sauce.
I think having a fresh time period, unexplored lore, and obviously morally complex themes, and then not running it by any like Star Wars legend was not a good idea in the slightest. And obviously
all I'm saying is Carrie Fisher is turning in her grave after seeing that.
Can I keep that in? I don't know.
I don't know. Big iconic figure. I was gonna use Mark Hamill, but I was like, I'm 99% sure he's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive, yeah. The possibility of focusing on the Sith and offered.
Did they also not tell him that they were making that just so he wouldn't have his 2 cents put in there?
Oh, people said I think he helped with production. If he did, the thing wouldn't exist.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen him in the on set for the games.
Yeah, Jedi Survivor, mate.
Games.
He was so literally. Cameron Monaghan was like, "Can I do my own stunts?" He went, "No, you're doing what I do." I do think he did his own stunts for some things, but he was like, "No, you listen to me. I am Star Wars. You listen to me." I'm Star Wars.
He's literally
they are me.
He's literally like Star Wars Jesus.
Oh yeah, he is the people that every show that dies they see him. Like this one. I think many fans felt like the execution never fully lived up to those ideas, obviously leaving the story feel a lot less impactful than its premise actually suggested. No shit. Now, I want to end it on this. Could a second season actually improved the show in any way, shape, or form? I think any.
No. To quote Mr. O'Hare from the Lorax, "Let it die, let it die, let it shrivel on up and die."
I think any show would benefit from a second season. However, I'm mainly saying that just to piss you off.
You have the right to an opinion,
but
your opinion is wrong.
I did that just to annoy you. I mean, to be fair, more you could. You look like you're about to leap off of my screen and choke me to death.
I'm coming to Roman Reigns speak in a minute.
I definitely.
Your next words have to be chosen with the utmost care if you want to see your 18th birthday.
Oh yeah. Right. I will say this. More. I can't do it with straight face. Any show would benefit from more content, and especially with this one, you could nitpick things out and keep them in. But there's just so much more things that is so wrong with this show that there's no point to it. There is, I think, 2 or 3 good aspects, but there's no point in taking those aspects and chucking them into the Star Wars universe and still acknowledging that. I'd rather it just disappeared like the blip from fucking Thanos. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's the ghost of character.
It looked like dog.
Oh. Well, yeah, I would say anything with a second season would add more content, but you're literally 1, wasting money, and 2 and 2, no one would watch it. And
there's a reason shows get cancelled all the time.
Hey, hang on, right, I want to put this out. I'll make this as a short. He has just said that they've just cancelled season 2 of Wonder Man. I don't know why, because that show was so well received, and I even enjoyed it.
TV shows are cancelled usually for good reason.
No, that one wasn't. That one wasn't. You should have seen every review it got. It was raved. It did not make sense.
You can't approve upon a turd.
Right.
A turd is still a turd at the end of the day.
Marcus, less than 6 months ago, the show literally said, yeah, we renewed it for season 2 because the first one did so well. So why the fuck, 2 days after Spider-Man comes out, no, we're not doing it anymore. The Acolyte was definitely a failure because of its ideas. There's no denying that. It struggled because obviously many viewers felt like those ideas weren't executed effectively.
No, I felt like I was disrespected.
I think its visuals, action, and obviously fresh setting definitely were something to take from it. But like the character development, storytelling, and obviously all the pacing problems and all that just were too shite.
How many straws do you want to clutch at? Like, fuck me. This is desperate.
I like Star Wars. I want all to be good, but this one's not.
I love Star Wars, but I can accurately tell you which movies are good and which ones are shit.
Clone
Phantom
Wars,
Menace.
Not great. No, don't end the call. Don't leave the call. Don't leave the call. Don't. I knew you was gonna do that.
Right, round off this video because I can't be asked talking to you.
But without further ado, that is the end of today's
I'm
video.
not. I can't be asked negotiating with fucking.
I was
spoons.
joking when I said that, man. But without further ado, folks, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment what else you would like to see on the channel.
Please just flame him in the comments for having some terrible, terrible opinions.
And don't forget to check out my brother's links in the description below. But I hope you have an amazing day as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.